Oh, that was then, this is now. That was the 2023 season. Time to kick off the 2024 fantasy football season. Week 1 on NFL Fantasy Live. Patrick Claybon here with Cynthia Freeland and Adam Rank. Looking back to then, how excited. Week 1, Cynthia, we're here.
With real football. Not fake, semi, a little bit real. Real. It counts. It's for all the marbles. Week 1, we finally made it.
This is the last Monday without football for 39 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
A significant number.
I'm done talking about it. Let's just play.
Yeah, we're going to get actual games. We're going to get to your fantasy drafts coming up later on this show. If you haven't done yours yet, go to NFL.com/fantasy. Sign up for a free fantasy football league today. But we also had our fantasy draft last week. We did some drafting over the weekend. Your biggest draft move this weekend, Cynthia?
I went in one of my leagues until round 5 before taking a running back.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Who
one
was the
little
running
caveat.
back you took in round 5? Do you remember?
It was not. It was actually a very not one that you'll love.
Okay.
Do you have a guess?
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
There it is.
I knew you were going to go there. Anyways, go ahead. But yeah, so I guess I could have technically gotten him at the end of round 4, but it was better for the story
Right.
to wait until that snake pick in the beginning of round 5, right? So
So you can
still
brag
a really
about it.
long time.
That happened to me twice, where I inadvertently started doing 0 RB. That wasn't the intention. And then I noticed this too. Like I was doing my League of Record draft last night. DePaulo brothers say hi. Ian says hi. Ian's our biggest. Ian gets so upset because he's actually the biggest fan. And so
No, the DePaulos text during the show.
that's true. And but I'm
Ian,
sitting
come on,
there-
get your text game on.
It's so funny because you forget all your friends. Like, I basically broadcast what I want to do. So I'm like, I can't wait to get Travis Etienne in these drafts. I'm going to get him at the end of the second round. That's why I'm going with CD Lamb here. And then, like, he goes 14th. You're like, I need to stop broadcasting that.
I broadcasted to you that I was going to take Josh Jacobs. I wanted to take Josh Jacobs in our league of record, but it didn't get to happen. So the biggest draft move for me was waiting till the very end, drafting the Seattle Seahawks at the very last pick of the draft, and just scouting rookie quarterbacks, making their first career start on the road, because otherwise all my draft moves were generally bad. And so we look forward to all the mistakes that I will make as I fraudulently try to win. Again, what about a draft reach, Rank? Who did you go perhaps a bit too early for?
Like a reach?
Yeah.
Well, they're like when I started missing out on the running backs, I just overloaded with every rookie running back that you could get, starting with like Bucky Irving, Kamani Vidal, Trey Benson, Audric Estime. Like I have them all. Like there is a team that has all, like my whole bench is rookie running backs because I'm like, I need 2 of these lottery tickets to hit. Like that's just the thing. I was on tilt a little bit, and that's the way that I wanted to do it. And just like, again, hope one of these guys hits.
Well, I was trying to put my opponents on tilt. My Michigan league, I'm from Michigan, we talk about it all the time. Lions fan, one of my friends in my league went to Iowa, similar to Kimmy Checks. Love you, Kimmy. But I got to take, Sam Laporta, and I went with round 2, which is, it is a reach for me, but I just had to. One, it was funny. It made for good comedy.
Right.
My Iowa going friend who now lives in Michigan, who's a huge Lions fan, was like, come on, you're kidding me, Cynthia. Kimmy's going to be mad at you too. Anyways, but Kimmy's not mad at me, just so we're clear.
She's not, no.
No.
She's good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kimmy and generally drafting with people who know fantasy football and understand fantasy football, you have to have a nice queue if you're multitasking when you draft. I thought I had a nice queue. I thought 8 players in the queue was going to be enough. It was not enough, and I wound up drafting Harrison Butker in the 7th round. I did not want Harrison Butker on my fantasy football team. I did not want a kicker in the 7th round. So ultimately, I just wasted a pick. And so that was the biggest draft reach for me, was having Harrison Butker kick on my I did not believe his role was to kick on my fantasy football team. So he is now
role.
available
Like
on Ravens.
if you had landed Younghoe Koo, you would have been fine with that.
Absolutely fine.
Would have been great.
A-okay to have.
Brandon Aubrey, come on down.
Would have been great. What about a steal, Cynthia?
Well, in the 3rd round, I got a little lucky. Garrett Wilson was still available.
Wow.
So I think that, again, this is my Michigan league, so I think people have like some Aaron Rodgers disdain that has maybe kind of spilled over into his tenure as a Jet. But Garrett Wilson shouldn't be punished for that.
No,
and also, like, Aaron Rodgers is a really good pick still, so I'll be fine picking up the scraps of my Michigan friends who decided, we don't want Aaron Rodgers, we just still don't like him. Sorry, we're not going to forgive you, Mr. Packers man, now turned Jet.
Mr. Packers.
I don't know. I mean, like, we all know somebody we don't like, but their friend could be cool.
That's right.
You don't have to punish that friend.
Again, I didn't. I got to steal
I
him.
never would have. That is such a great pick. You know, something similar happened to me where I found and this is one of the reasons why I ended up drafting 3 receivers to start a draft, is because when Drake London is still available in the 3rd round, there's no way that I pass on that. Now, no, before you even ask, this is not with the crew of Good Morning Football. It was not them who besmirched Drake London last week by not putting him in their top 16. But I think that there's a real opportunity for Drake London to be a top 5 fantasy receiver this season. You think about it, new coach, new offensive coordinator, bringing in the Mike Shanahan scheme. Kirk Cousins, who's done very well during his NFL career. I love getting Drake London. I would have been happy with him as my wide receiver 2. I'm thrilled to have him as my wide receiver 3 or flex guy.
Yeah, adding a whole lot of value there. I got a tremendous value in my home league, and that's because there's some fan bases represented in our league, including a Houston Texans fan who wanted Joe Mixon. It caused me at the end of the 2nd round, picking at the turn, to be able to get Travis Etienne in the 3rd round. Because speaking of besmirching, there are some locales that don't necessarily appreciate the contributions of this particular Jacksonville Jaguar. I am not in that population
Do you like
of
winning?
individuals. He has carried my fantasy team for a couple of years.